Hello. So, I'm reintroducing an old thing in a new way. Healing sessions. I'm coming back doing it again because I was trying to do it in a way of, I was trying to do it at the wrong time. Okay. So, I was just trying to come out of postpartum, not really out of there yet, not really knowing, what it looks like to actually be in a healthy mind space after motherhood, because this is my first child. So I didn't really know what that looked like. But I was trying to get back to myself, but also still stay true to myself, or what idea of what I thought was my actual career and pursuing that and what that would look like. And so right now we're going to talk about what is wrong with people. And what is wrong with people starts with you. So instead of looking outward, we're going to look inward. And oftentimes what we see that is wrong with people is a direct reflection of something that maybe bothers us. So what I'm going to start with is using myself as an example. So with postpartum, what I was struggling with is I thought like everybody was going crazy. But it wasn't that everybody was going crazy. It was that I did not have the patience to be able to handle the intricate nuances of people, which I know how to handle because my career, what it used to be, I was in the mental health field. So let me introduce myself. I'm Lizzie, but if you want to, you can call me Dr. Lizzie because I do have my doctorate in clinical psychology. And so I used to see clients and things like that. So what I'm gonna do is just do this segment where it's just an open forum. If people want to talk, comment, and maybe open up to something different, I don't know. But I wanted to just introduce where people can talk about how trauma, I want to talk about how trauma manifests and what it can look like in different stages of life. And so the topics are going to come up organically as it relates to my life and what I'm thinking in this new chapter, and also what it can look like to be on a healing journey, because we're always going to be healing. I don't care how much therapy you go to, how much ayahuasca or any type of method that you use for healing, it's going to be a continual journey because we're always growing. We're always doing new things. And if you're not doing new things, what are you doing? Because life and living is going to be new. And so what that's going to look like healing so that you don't continue to get pained by the same things. And I want to keep this short and sweet because I used to do those long, drawn out think pieces. And I want to just keep it concise, but also keep it organic to me because I will be long-winded. I enjoy having long conversations about life as a human being and navigating trauma. I really did enjoy seeing clients, and I don't think that that's going to be something that I'm going to do in life further, because I've always told myself that once I have a child, I do not think that I can invest in other people as much as I did in my career, because I'm going to use that energy and invest in my child, in my husband, and in myself. And so because we cannot be any good to anybody until we really focus on ourselves. And so, yeah, let's get back to what's wrong with people. What's wrong with people is what is wrong with you. What is going on? How are you? First, you got to think about how are you seeing people. And so for me, I was seeing people as liars, not being truthful, so not being authentic to themselves, masking. And I was seeing it in this morbid, manipulative way. And so oftentimes because I found it condescending, because for one, I can detect a lie because it's my profession to like see through the BS. And I was really good at that. Also, I also had a channel where this channel was also doing tarot. So if you're not into that, I'm also into that spirituality and the tarot, okay? I also grew up in the church, so I'm a preacher's kid. And so all of that intertwined. So it was kind of like tarot, trauma, spirituality, religion, because that is all aspects of me and how I see the world and how I navigate. Even though there are not all of those things I do not utilize, and I may not they may not be at the forefront of my life right now. However, they still shape how I see the world. And I think that's also a way in which you can start your healing process, is because you have to understand how you are seeing the world. And the world is how you seeing people, and not just people on the outside world, because a lot of times people like to focus on people that are not close. Even in this world, there's a lot of things going on, and people want to focus on people who are not accessible. And so sometimes you need to draw back and see, okay, what's happening within my world? Why am I reacting so much to the outside world? Does it affect me? How does it affect me? And how can I navigate in this in the most healthy way? Okay? So, using myself. Like I said, I was seeing people as manipulative and not being truthful or honest to themselves. Now, what happened in postpartum, after having a child, that blew my world up, because so I prided myself on being solid mentally and emotionally, being able to be emotionally regulated. Now I would have some like anger kind of outbursts back in the day, but that was starting to come up again. I was very angry. And so I just wanted people to be honest. I was so upset that people were not truthful about, here come my husband, about to mess up the video. There you go. So anyways, he's gonna be in it. So what began to happen is that back to it. As I said in the previous video, having a husband and a toddler, they gonna mess up your video. So what I was saying was, yeah, I was focusing on, it was a lot of anger. And I was seeing people as not being true to themselves. But what was happening is, like, I felt like I was being manipulated by the masses. And then I had a lot of anxiety, but I thought, like, people were not honest about motherhood. But as I was going on my journey and then kind of speaking to it, I was starting to see more people being honest on social media about how difficult motherhood is, and how moms are not really given, see, everybody's like messing up this video. I'm like, I'm gonna continue. because this is the reality. I'm trying. It's just not, it's not. And that was another thing. I was trying to operate in perfection, and there is no perfect way to navigate this life. There's no perfect way to be a mother. There's no perfect way to be a wife. There's no perfect way to be a daughter, to be a sister. There is no manual. We're all trying to make it in this world and try to make sense of it. And so we have to give each other, and more importantly, give ourselves grace. And that's what I was missing. I wasn't giving myself grace, and I wasn't giving grace to others. And so I was expecting people to show up in this perfect space, being honest, being vulnerable, and being open, when in return, I wasn't being that. I was so caught up in anxiety and being a perfect mom that I was just like biting everybody's heads off because they were disrupting whatever routine that I had going on to make each day perfect. I was trying to get each day to operate in the same way, and so that nothing can go wrong. And that's just not realistic. But when you're in a altered state mentally, nobody can tell you that what is going on. And so it was very difficult to come out of that. I also had a C-section, and I'm just gonna cut it there because I feel like my husband threw me off when I was like on a roll. But I just want to introduce it in this way with this topic. What's wrong with people? What's wrong with people is you need to look inward and see how you are reacting to people. Because the way in which you are reacting to people is going to give insight into what they are triggering. Because people can trigger. And you can trigger other people, and people can trigger you. And you need to understand what they are triggering. And so even if people are not being honest, I'm speaking for myself because that's what I thought people are not being honest. They don't always owe me that because that's vulnerable. And also, it's not about me. And if that's how they need to operate at that moment in time, then that is safety for them. And so it is not about me. And that's oftentimes I think we respond to people or react to people, and it's really not about you at all. It's really their internal world. And so when you are ready to point the finger, just look inward. As difficult as it is, look inward. Because yeah, the person can be crappy, but it's not your job to fix them. It's not your job to truly understand and figure it out, because you can't, because they have to make sense of their own dysfunction. And what you have to do is you have to heal yourself and realize what you are responding to. Sometimes this is difficult because this is people that your family that you interact with daily. There are some people that are receptive and ready to be held accountable to their own dysfunction. And sometimes they are not. And that is not for you to push. You also can set a boundary. If they are triggering you so much, you can set a boundary. But sometimes it ain't that easy because it's your partner, because it's your child. And so sometimes you got to give some space. Do not react because you don't want to say things or do something that is really difficult to come back from. And so, yeah, take some time and look within and see what is going on. The one thing that I was always aware of, even in that postpartum hormonal anxiety, rage, madness, I always knew that there was something going wrong with me. And I would say it. I was like, I know that this is something going wrong with me and I'm reacting to this, but I need to talk about this. Or some people were not ready to hear any of that, and I had to not talk to people. And that's okay. There's people in my life, in my family, that I have not talked to. And it's because I used to play a certain role within my family where people can come to me, and of course they would, because I have a doctorate in psychology. But that's also not okay for me to be the container to hold everybody's emotions and everybody's stuff. And for people to not be able to support me when I need it. But also, people don't owe me that. People ain't always in the space to hold your stuff when you need them. But I also could set a boundary and say, hey, I can't hold your stuff right now. And that's basically what I was doing. And it took some time because it's very hard to shift a role that you play within your family or within the dynamic of life and all type of interactions. But I didn't have this capacity to hold stuff for other people. I only could hold it for me and my daughter. And I barely could hold it together for me. But I was holding it together for my daughter. But I give a lot of grace to people now. I didn't. But I start off having to give that grace to myself because I did not have it to give to other people because I was very hard on myself, which means I'm very hard on other people as well. And so that's the thing, and I always come back to shifting that because now I know, now that I have a child and I have a husband, as you gonna hear him, but you probably ain't gonna see him because I'm gonna edit it out because I already know how he is. And so, yeah, I forgot my train of thought, but yeah, you're gonna have to navigate all of that because you have a lot of, as a person trying to navigate this world, you're gonna have a lot of moving parts, and everybody is not gonna respond in the way you think they're gonna respond, and everybody's not gonna take what you're saying in a certain way. Because sometimes people can feel attacked, which I cannot stand attack. People feeling attacked, but sometimes they do. Just because you're speaking the truth or your truth or how you're seeing them or even exactly what they said. Some people can't even hear what they said because people ain't ready for that. But anyways, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go. I think my mom about to come up in here because now my mom is living with me too. It's a whole mess. But keep on coming here for these healing sessions because I think it's gonna help somebody. And yeah, that's it. Peace, y'all, and keep healing.